Hey y'all, hey, welcome back to my channel. It's Christian here. You're tuned in for more of my 2 cents. If you are new to the channel, then welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm glad to have you here today. It's going to be a great thought-provoking conversation as I'm going to be giving a live reaction to a video. Well, not a video, I'm sorry, to a post, to a Facebook post that went viral earlier last week from a pastor, Joshua Reyes, or Joshua Reyes. Let's just call him Joshua, okay? Because I don't want to say nobody's name wrong. Joshua made a post, and it has since been shared so many times. And I think that it is definitely worth discussing. It's been shared over 14,000 times on Instagram and has over 6.5 thousand likes and a little over 1.5 thousand comments. And I think that it's great to have these dialogues and to also dive into what is really going on right now in church and with pastors overall. But before we get into the conversation for today, 3 points that matter most before I start any discussion or dialogue. Number one, you're not alone. Number two, you're not crazy. Number three, God, your creator, still loves you, and I do too. So let's meet Joshua. Okay, let's meet Pastor J. Let's give him a nickname. Let's meet Pastor J here. So he is a pastor, revivalist, and a creative. That's what it says on his social media profile. And this is him. Now, it is imperative, okay? It is imperative that we understand and we know that there is no certain look, vibe, or feel for today's pastors, for today's leaders, okay? We don't know what their qualifying um attributes might be. We don't know who ordains majority of the pastors nowadays. It doesn't really matter. Nobody cares. As long as you have a ministry, a church, a following, an audience, people that like you, believe in you, and trust what you say, you can be a pastor today. All right. So I don't know Joshua's background. I just know that this post was shared by three different people who are on my Facebook timeline, and they all had church affiliation. One was a pastor's daughter, one was a pastor's wife, and one was a pastor. And so after I saw it repeatedly, and 4 times, and one was by a YouTube vlogger, if you will, Larry Reed reposted this as well. And so I was like, okay, I keep seeing this. Let me read the first paragraph. And I literally only read the first paragraph, y'all, and I stopped because I was like, nope, I want to give a live reaction to reading this. And I think that's the best way to go. So let's jump right into the post. Like I said, I've only read the first paragraph, and it is a pretty lengthy post. So I did have to, split it up, but we're going to make it through it. So it starts by saying, pastoring is weird. I've poured my heart and soul into people who now act like I don't exist. I've done hours of counseling and deliverance with people who later deleted me. I've publicly honored people who chose to slander me and act like I was a villain. And then there's people I rarely have conversations with that honor and respect me to the highest degree. Some leaders have washed my feet while others have thrown dirt on my name. That is the only paragraph that I read. And I was like, pause, stop. Don't read no more because you got to finish this on your YouTube, honey. So let me tell you about this first paragraph, how I feel about this paragraph right here. I believe that that is everybody's experience, pastor or not. We are the villain in someone's story, pastor or not, whether you're a friend, whether you're a sibling, whether you're a cousin, an auntie, a coworker, a stranger, you are someone's villain in their story. And someone is the villain in yours. And there is no way, depending on what information we have or context is given, that we can know all of the underlying foundational truths that has led to your belief or to their belief in the role that is played by either party. Everybody perceives situations differently that leads to someone else's actions. Everybody has a right to have their own perception and for it to be their reality. What I feel here in saying pastoring is weird is that it kind of gives the one-sided view that these things are just how can I say this? They're reserved for pastors. These things only happen in this kind of setting when you have given yourself as a pastor to people and you have poured your heart out and your soul out into people, and then people ignore you, act like you don't exist. There are a lot of different things that play into that. And I will say this, I'm going to start by saying this before I get to the next paragraph. You can give your version of what happened and how people responded or treated you after, but guess what? We'll never know what led to them ignoring you later. We'll never know what led them to deleting you. We'll never know what led them to slander you or treat you like a villain. We'll never know because they have their truth too. So we can only take from you what you got or what you feel about being left or ghosted. But we have to remember here that at the end of the day, everybody can give their storyline. But if you didn't have an exit meeting or you didn't follow up and call them to see what happened, you can only tell it from your perspective. So there's that. Okay, pastoring is weird. I'm too much for some, yet too little for others. The same preaching that convicts one person angers another. The same sermon that was boring to one was massively impactful to another. Praise for being so loving and graceful, yet slandered for being too loving and graceful in certain situations. Totally understand that. Happens in life. You can literally be a pastor or a person. You can be a person who tries to be balanced, fair, and, you know, what's that word? Like always considerate. You can, be the kind of person that's fair. You try to be balanced and considerate and say, okay, well, no, I don't see it like that. Or you try to be like, well, some people, would say, devil's advocate. But you try to be fair and balanced in your approach to things and hearing both sides of someone's story or taking other things into consideration. And that can be good to some people, like, good, I'm glad you're like that. I'm good you try to see different perspectives. And then that can be like, oh, now you just, that ain't right. You giving them too much credit. You'll never be enough for the wrong people. That's what I gather from that paragraph. You'll never be enough for the wrong people. You'll never be right to people who are committed to believing you're wrong. You'll never be able to explain enough to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. Pastoring ain't weird, baby. Life is real. People with differing of opinions and differing life experiences that give them a different perspective is what you are dealing with as a pastor. But let's continue. Pastoring is weird. We're accused of just wanting money, yet we're also expected to live in humble poverty like a lowly shepherd. If you have nice things, then you're greedy and materialistic. If you don't have nice things, then you must be in rebellion since God isn't blessing you. People are always asking us for our personal time, money, and resources. Yet, when we set healthy boundaries to care for our mental health and our families, we're considered selfish. Well, Joshua, ah, ah, I want to say here, first of all, first thing that I want to say, this whole pastoring is weird affirmation. I'm big on words and I'm big on what I affirm and what I say repeatedly. And this is not something that I myself would say. I would never say being a business owner is weird. I would never say being an entrepreneur is weird. Being an entrepreneur is difficult. Being an entrepreneur is this. You're literally affirming that with your mouth and you're making that your experience. You're furthermore validating all of the things that you've experienced as a pastor, and you're not using them as lessons, but instead you're sharing them as if though they have to be understood to excuse future or present behavior or decisions. Now, that's just me. That's me. I internalize things differently, and everybody has a right to express themselves. Now, with this, we're accused of just wanting money, yet we're also expected to live in humble poverty like a lowly shepherd. I'm going to push back on that because I don't believe that pastors should live a lowly life. I don't believe that. What I also don't believe is that pastors should only live a good life based off of their church, while their members are living a lowly shepherd life and being told not to be materialistic, but also believe in God or sow a seed in order to get blessed. it's a lot of contradiction in church. And so your lifestyle usually is able to be elevated because you have access to multiple people's resources while all you're doing is preaching. Don't mean to be rude, but unless you're in a church that can afford to pay you a salary, then you should be working a job and you can live however you want to live off of the money that you make from your job. And any tithes and offering that goes into your church, if it's not enough to pay you a salary, should definitely be there to pay for the church's functionality and to help any members that may need it. If you have a job and you're able to live good off of a 6-figure income or a 5-figure income, whatever the case may be, make that do what it do for you and your household. Nobody's going to question that. The problem comes in with you all not living like lowly shepherds when your members do, but you expect them to keep giving to you. That's where the problem in lies. If you have nice things and you are greedy and materialistic, no. If you have nice things off the back of people who don't have nice things, if you're riding around in beautiful luxury cars with no job, but your income is church revenue, then and your members don't have cars or they're on public transportation assistance and you're preaching things that would say that they're in disobedience to God in their sowing, in their tithing, in their ability to be free for church, that's God's way of punishing them or rebuking them by them not getting ahead, but you're getting ahead off of their money. You gotta, again, you're sharing it from the perspective of your experiences as a complaint, but not really being considerate of the opposite side of somebody else's view of the situation where they're actually benefiting your life. So, okay. Um, and the people are always asking us for our personal time, money, and resources. You do the same thing at church. I don't have a problem with people wanting their pastor to be present when most pastors literally berate their members about not being on time, not being present at every service, not giving enough, not doing enough, not volunteering enough. That's a mutual toxic trait of church and of church fellowship. So you're getting back what is actually being put out. And I don't mean just you, Joshua. I mean pastors in general. Pastors want exclusive rights to people's time. Pastors and leadership will literally say sick things like, you be on time for work. You should be on time for church. Give the same energy to church that you gave to your job. You keep going to church. You keep going to work and there's messy folks there, but you can't be at church. The correlations don't be correlating. So I get what you're saying about people asking you for your time, your money, your resources, but you all do the same thing. Literally reprimanding adults about how much time they spend in other places versus in the house of the Lord. How much time or how much money they give to other things versus how much money they give to the house of the Lord. Y'all want these big churches. Y'all want these churches that are dark with flashing lights and smoke. That is costing y'all money. Okay? Do regular service with the lights on for an hour, cut them off, and leave. Y'all don't want to do that. So you may have to dip into your pockets to pay to offset the costs of you wanting to have a dark room with stage lights and smoke. Okay. Pastoring is weird. Everything you say and do can and will be used against you by anyone disgruntled, annoyed, petty, or even just bored. Every mistake is broadcasted as proof that you're unqualified, yet victories seem less talked about because they're expected. Your personal life, hobbies, interests, friendships, relationships, ministry alignments, and family are under a constant microscope and being monitored by people searching for faults and failures. I understand what he's saying here. I really do. But I'm going to say this. The only reason why pastors are on a pedestal is because pastors have either A, put themselves there, or B, wanted their members to put them there. And by that, I mean standing in pulpits and on stages that are man-made and saying things like, your man of God. I'm your man of God. You shouldn't be going to other pastors. You shouldn't be talking to this person. You shouldn't be going to this person before you come to me. You shouldn't be giving to this person before you give to me, right? You shouldn't be honoring the man of another house more than you honor me. This is my house. That's why my income is constantly increasing. Affirmation for the day. That's why everything you say and do can and will be used against you, because people give so much to you all. You all are so invested in that when someone feels slighted, when someone feels like you're not listening to them, you're not giving them enough ROI, and they've invested in you fully with their mind, body, soul, spirit, and finances, yeah, they're going to be a little disgruntled. Yes, they're going to have an attitude when you don't say or do something that's in their best interest or on their side. Yes, that's going to happen. Is it right? But is what y'all do right either? Nobody wins when y'all are all trying to have your own identity and still take someone else's at the same time. You all place yourselves in heavenly places. Do you get this? You all have made pastoring be an elite experience by having armor bearers and boards and assistants and separating yourself from people. Like, no, I don't talk to people after church, or no, we don't shake hands, or you go to the back room. You all create these narratives in this separation and classism in your experience at church. And then you have a problem when people treat y'all like the celebrities that y'all believe that y'all are in these small spheres of influence. Because when you step out of the church, you're literally your first name. I will continue to say this. You are Joshua at Walmart. You are Joshua at Texas Roadhouse. You are Joshua at Kroger. You are Joshua at the 7-Eleven. You are Joshua at Cinemark. You are Joshua at the mall. You're Joshua down to the light company. You are Joshua down to the water company. You are Joshua down to the cable company. You are Joshua down to the AT&T. Nobody cares about the pastor in front of your name other than your members. So when they put you on the pedestal and when they give you the honor and the reverence and the respect that you demand by how you treat them compared to how you treat everybody else in your peer group, when you create separation and don't allow direct access to your persons the way that you want direct access and honor and loyalty from them, yes, they're going to have a problem. Yes, that's going to happen. And truth be told, y'all want the separation so that y'all don't have to have the accountability and y'all don't have to have the responsibility, right? Of actually doing and walking in the love, the peace, the conflict resolution that y'all actually should be doing and exhibiting. You all are absolved of so much. And it's only because y'all wanted to be seated in these places. You all want the pastor's appreciations. Y'all ain't turning them down. Y'all want the celebrations. Y'all ain't turning them down. Y'all want the accolades in y'all faces on flyers. Y'all aren't turning this stuff down. Y'all aren't saying no. It's not about none of that. Don't honor me. Don't give me a day. Don't do that. No, I'm here to serve. Like, get up here and preach. Go to your seat afterwards or leave with people. Go through the front door like everybody else. That's what I loved about my uncle. God rest that man's soul. My uncle was such an amazing man and a pastor. But when he would get done preaching, and I've seen other pastors do this too, but this is what's literally in my mind. My uncle would close his Bible, pray, give the benediction, and he would immediately like just start like talking to the other people. Like he would immediately close the Bible, give the benediction, and start talking to other people. And not like in a standing at the podium waiting for them to come up there to him. He would get out of either the pulpit or the stage, as I call them. He would step down and like just start walking towards the front door, laughing and talking to the kids, to the other members. Like, I'm just a man that was just up there talking to y'all. That's all. going to his car. Nobody was holding his bag, right? Nobody was getting him water, wiping his forehead. It's literally equivalent to you getting off of your job. You just go to your car. Why you got to take an extra break or go to the back first and change your clothes and act like you're so deep and spiritual? And I got to say this, I get that when you have spoken, you might have given a lot, because I do public speaking, so I know what that feels like. Even when I get done recording my videos, I have to shift energy. So I get that. And some people may say, well, it's an anointing and you have to, come down that in a certain way. You just can't go right into talking to people. I understand. I do. But I need y'all to understand this too. Some of y'all don't even be flowing in nothing deep anyway. Y'all are just used to having pomp and circumstance around you. After you said the basic of the basic, after you've done the least of the little, you ain't even really hit people with nothing amazing or life changing. You can definitely step down off the stage and go to your car with everybody else. Hold the door for some people while they're walking out, matter of fact. But y'all don't want to operate in that. So when you look at and you think about your personal life, your hobbies, your interests, and your friendships, and all of that stuff being under a constant microscope, you all make it that way. You all allow it to be that way. And instead of just creating organizations or church environments that allow you to be human, you all want to be supernatural. And you want unicorn energy to be respected. And then when it is, you have a problem with it. Now pastoring is weird. No, pastoring is weird because y'all set up these little fake groups in your mind. You set up these fake narratives about who you are and how important you are. And then when people treat you like that, you don't like it. Yeah. It's really giving you cast a check. You wrote a check that you can't cash. You don't want to live it through. Pastoring is weird. You give everything you have and somehow still feel like you didn't give enough. You never meet certain people's expectations. You didn't do enough according to someone's opinion. And there's always someone confident they could do a better job, yet all they do is criticize from the sidelines. I understand that. I really do. I do understand that for sure. And I actually understand all of what this post is saying now that I'm reading it. But again, it goes back to the office and the pedestal that you all have created for yourselves' existence as pastors. None of this stuff is necessary. None of this stuff should even be being described as such, but pastors have been positioned as God. And I don't know if this is since the beginning of time with church. I can only speak to what I've seen on display. And all the pastors that I have had a question mark in my mind about, they have exhibited the behavior of acting extra, of wanting the separation, of not truly being a part of the community that they want to support them. And when people give you that energy back, you don't like it. So you're saying you give everything you have and somehow it still doesn't feel like you've given enough. Personal perspective. You never meet certain people's expectations. Personal perspective. I don't know what those expectations are, but again, that's your experience, obviously, with the people that you lead. You didn't do enough according to someone's opinion, and there's always someone confident they can do a better job, yet all they do is criticize from the sidelines. What opportunity are they given to show that they can do a better job? Because it's not like y'all are sharing y'all microphone and y'all podium with people. Y'all aren't giving people other opportunities to go forward and exalt, or to actually teach, or to lead, or to guide people, or to share their revelation, knowledge, and truth. It's amazing to me how pastors think they're the only ones that actually have a word for the members in whatever body they've created. It's amazing. With all of the life experience that is usually in rooms at church, there's only one person that is speaking as if though they're the only answer to everyone's question or everyone's problem in the room. And I can guarantee you that that is false. You may be a pastor who is called by God, may be a pastor, like I said, that is called by God, allegedly, but you are not the only one with an answer. You are not the only one with revelation. You are not the only one with knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. You are not the only one capable of conveying truth and applying wisdom and giving knowledge. You are not the only one with an understanding. But you all have a pedestal. You've been given power and a platform, and you all do not want to relinquish it. You do not serve with people. You want to be served by people. So, of course, there are people who criticize from the sideline because you don't give them an opportunity to actually present what they know that might be stronger, deeper, better, wiser, sounder advice than what you continue to share. Y'all don't want to do church with people. Y'all want people to come to your church and do it the way you set it up. Even as a business owner, I am aware and I know that there are people who know more than me. I am aware that even though I know what I know for my business, there are people who know something else that could help my business. I know that there are people who have done what I'm doing, who have been further than who have been further than I have, and I'm still traveling the road. They can show me something, tell me something, refer something, give me something, teach me something that I don't know, that I haven't done. I'm okay with that. It's not criticism if it actually leads to a better outcome for my situation. But y'all don't take advice, y'all don't have accountability to anyone but people in your circle, and that's very little accountability because y'all protect each other. Y'all probably ain't calling each other out, but y'all will call out, demean, disrespect, use your platform and your microphone to preach at somebody instead of talking to people and doing life with them. So you can say these things. You can definitely say that people are always, criticizing and think they can do a better job than you. No, y'all can all learn and grow together. But guess what? That option is not on the Scantron. You are the pastor of the house. You are not reaching out and touching somebody's hand and asking them how you can make the world a better place. Pastoring is weird. You try your best to protect the sheep from wolves, and somehow in the process, you end up accused of being a wolf yourself. I will say nothing there. Sometimes other shepherds who don't even know you spread lies about you and your flock. Yeah, I mean, I know that happens. I actually have seen that happen. Case in point, an example, right? The pastor of the church that my husband and I went to in Mississippi, the one where he asked us to pay for his wife's car, he literally would talk about the other pastors in the city. He would talk about them over the church. Like in the pulpit, he would talk about other pastors in the city and why he don't mess with them, why he don't fellowship with them, why he don't want his name associated with them. He would literally talk down about other pastors to us as his members. And there was never any supporting evidence. There were never any supporting details. There were never any instances that actually gave him a foundation for his claims or reasons why he didn't want to be associated. And I always surmised that it was jealousy because I'm like, when I would think about the churches he was talking about, I was like, well, they're bigger than our church. They have more members than our church. And he automatically would always assume that they were doing something wrong over there, or they were operating like a cult, or they weren't really saved, or they were compromising. That was always his assumption about these pastors and these ministries because of where they were. They were ahead of him. They had more than him. Their name was greater in the community than his. And his way of spewing vitriol, or to get us to never want to go over there, I assume, was to talk down about them for no reason. So what he's saying is true. But let me say this, it's happening from your own camp. Your own pastors are doing this against you, baby. Yeah, it ain't the members, it's your fellow pastors. That's an internal issue. I honestly believe that no pastor should have a problem with their members, with the members, not their members, with the members going to another church. Let me tell you this. When you think about church, I think about church as a franchise, right? As a franchise business. Every church that is a Christian-based faith, a Christian-based faith believing church, You should have membership should be interchangeable. Like if you go to Anytime Fitness in Chicago, you can go to Anytime Fitness in Dallas. You can go to Anytime Fitness in Georgia. You can go to Anytime Fitness in California. You can go to Anytime Fitness in Florida. That is a chain operation. You're going to get the same access, same information, same resources, same experience because it's all giving the same results. The same resources are in those buildings. You can't say the same thing about church. You can go to one church and get a totally different message or a totally different contextual meaning of the same scripture based off of who's teaching it and what they say it is or how God showed it to them. That's why y'all have a problem with your members going to another ministry to visit, to join, to fellowship, or for a play or anything. Y'all don't want them to go nowhere else because they may get a word that's different from yours that actually hit better, feels deeper, connects more. But in my mind, it's like, let people go where they want to go. Let people visit. Like people should be free to go anywhere they want to. You go to whatever Chick-fil-A you want to. When you go to a McDonald's, they don't say what the last McDonald's you was at. No, stick to the McDonald's you been going to. Don't come over here. What? All McDonald's are created equally. Trash. Shout out to the hot fries with no salt. No McDonald's cares about where you were at last, which last McDonald's you went to. But at church, they all care. They all want you to stay. They all want to monopolize your time and your freedom. They all want control. They all make it seem like it's bad for you to church hop. If we're getting the gospel and we're spreading the truth and getting the wisdom and the knowledge and the revelation, why do you care what church I go to? You should be glad that my soul is being spoken to and fed. No, they want to make sure they're the ones setting the table and preparing the plates. They want to make sure they're the ones feeding you the bullshit. I'm sorry. They want to make sure that they don't lose the control that they have over you. Because if you go somewhere else, you may get something better. It ain't really because they're trying to guard your soul or safeguard you from anything or anyone that may be trying to hurt you. They're the ones usually doing it. And for you to go somewhere else would probably enlighten you and open your eyes. Don't fall for the hype and the lies, y'all. These people know what they're doing. Pastoring ain't weird. Y'all are. It ain't pastoring. It's the pastors. It should say pastors are weird. Maybe I should do a post like this, paragraph by paragraph, that starts with pastors are weird. Y'all are weird. It ain't pastoring. These are your experiences, and all of the people that reposted it or commented under it saying, amen, I felt this, I agree with this is so true. Because it's funny how y'all all have the same experiences with different people. Ain't none of y'all got the same members. So you telling me all y'all pastors have experienced what Joshua is saying, and then all of us as members are saying that we've experienced the same thing with y'all. Turn church into community centers. Pastoring is weird, and yet this is the last one, y'all. Pastoring is weird, and yet there's so much fulfillment in precious moments. The feeling you get when someone gives their life to Christ is beautiful. When you marry a couple who met at your church, bring restoration to a broken family, or dedicate a child that mom and dad prayed hard for, makes everything else worth it. When you're asked for by name to be with someone in their last moments, when you're the first person they seek when they need hope, when the healing comes, when the deliverance comes, when the breakthrough comes, when someone who thought they had no purpose gets discipled and preaches their first sermon, when the glory of the Lord fills the room and the congregation goes wild without restraint in his presence, nothing compares to this. Joshua, you literally just described what it feels like for you to accomplish all of these things and for people to say your name, for people to believe in you, for people to be excited about what you did to get them to a certain point in their fellowship, their walk, in their spiritual journey with their creator. You. The feeling you get when someone gives their life to Christ. When you marry a couple who met at your church. When you bring restoration to a broken family or dedicate a child from a mom and dad who has prayed hard for them, makes it all worth it. When you When you're asked for by name to be with someone in their last moments, and when you're the first person they seek when they need hope. Listen, you only talked about you. You only talked about you. Who? Hey, you only talked about you. Because what is this about? You. Play games with somebody else, not somebody who actually understands the psychology of y'all psychotic ways, not somebody who understands the psychotic mindset. No, I'm sorry, not psychotic. Definitely giving narcissistic. You're excited. You feel good when you're asked for by name. You, not God. Pastors are weird. And I get it. Nobody does any of this stuff to not be acknowledged. Nobody starts a church to be ignored. Nobody wants to have an organization for no one to join. I get it. What I'm saying is be honest. Pastoring is not weird. Y'all just don't like it when everybody don't love y'all. When everybody don't take y'all bull on their back and carry it like it's a badge of honor. Everything he named is good, it's perfect, it's refreshing. Focus on those high moments, focus on those high points. Maybe you'll have more of them. Pastoring is not perfect. I don't believe that it is. I'm a business owner. That ain't perfect. But guess what? Every lesson and every experience I use to allow me to get better, to progress. And I'm not feeling as if, though, you're understanding what you're saying. You, my son, you, my friend, you, child of God. You need to focus on the precious moments that you are blessed to experience by choosing to be a pastor. Everything you listed is what you should be focused on. That is your calling. All of the other stuff you talked about comes with being an adult and a human. You would go through it if you had a job. People talking about you, not liking you, judging you, saying they could do things better than you, no matter what your title is or whatever you would do, that could happen to you there too. It's not just exclusive to ministry. But since this is your profession, of course, these are your confessions. This is your profession, so these are your confessions. These are the things you've experienced. These are the truths that you know to be self-evident. But they can also be true if you did something different. Managers, bosses, anyone else in leadership may feel the same way about something else that they do as a profession. As my husband lifts the garage while I'm talking. Oh God, let's get through this, okay? Pastoring is weird. It's challenging, heartbreaking, and can be discouraging. But it's also fulfilling, inspiring, and awesomely life-changing. I don't have to do this. I get to do this. Pastoring is not for the faint of heart. It can be brutal, but it can also be beautiful. Pastoring is weird, but I guess I'm weird too. Oh, yes, God. He confessed. Yeah, Lord. Ha. He confessed. Okay, y'all. See, this is why it's good I hadn't read through this. I just told y'all pastors are weird, and he said it too. Case closed. I be knowing and I be flowing. I be sharing and I be caring. I be confessing and I be blessing. Y'all with the truth. Y'all with the truth. I told y'all, pastors are weird. He gets it. He gets it. And so this is definitely just an open letter of things he's experienced. We gonna let Joshua slide. We gonna let him cha-cha slide. Cause these are his confessions. This is his experience. But I tried to give my logical, critical thinking breakdown as much as I could there on those points. Y'all chose this. You get to do this. You don't have to do this. You chose this. You want this. The stress and the pressure that comes from being a pastor is because y'all want to be pastors. Y'all want this. And y'all say y'all wanted to fight for Christ. And I'm telling you right now, God ain't never needed none of y'all to be a representative for it. God is going to God regardless. God's light is going to be shown, whatever. It's going to shine. The light of God is going to shine whether or not there's a minister or a pastor to share that light. And I'm telling you that because we are each carrying the light. Your life is the light. If you are not affiliated with any spiritual or religious organization, you still have a light that you carry. Babies who are just born and have not professed anything and have not been indoctrinated and have never heard about God have light. You can feel it. This is truth that I'm speaking right now. We all have light. And if you don't call yourself a pastor, an evangelist, a bishop, or a follower of the Lord, you have the light. It is your life. It is your existence. It is your gift back to your creator. And what you do to it is your thanksgiving. It is your gratitude. It is your sign of learning, growing, thriving, existing. That is what we are meant to do. Church is an extension of your choices in life, but it is not the only way that your light actually radiates. And most times it is the number one way to hide your light or to have your light put out. Now, you don't have to believe me, but I'm not lying. And I want him to know that he only feels this way because he's not truly letting his light shine. Because if he was, he would be doing something that he doesn't have to complain about or doesn't feel as if though it's weird to do. I don't like the word weird, especially as it relates to being a pastor, because as you understand that it's suggesting of something that is just, it's like not normal. Pastoring is not normal. Pastoring is not acceptable. It's like eerie. It's unnatural. It's unearthly. It's just like, oh, what is that? That's weird. I don't understand it. I don't get it. I can't see myself doing that. I can't see myself being there. I don't understand that. Pastoring ain't weird. Y'all have just created unbelievably unnatural standards for a space that was meant to be beautiful. For a space that was meant to be oh my goodness, refreshing, loving, pure. Y'all aren't doing that. Y'all are not safe spaces. And that's because y'all have work to do. So step down. Turn these churches into community centers. P.S. Pray for your pastors and leaders. Statistics show that almost 20% of pastors battle depression and 85% of seminary graduates to enter ministry will leave ministry within the first 5 years. Preaching is only part of the job. We are at war behind the scenes. Please war for us and with us. No, Joshua, I will not war with you. And I will not war for you. What I will say is, do not take this calling or do not sign up for something that you are not willing to do the work for. If you are not practicing things that will establish peace and joy in your own personal life, you cannot lead anyone else to it. If you do not have the true love of God or the true love and light in your heart, period, of any source in you, you cannot share with anyone else. I know people, or I know of people for sure, who may not live perfect lives, because I don't know how they live on the back end. But what I will tell you is that they are not warring for anything because they are conscious of everything and intentional about all of the things that actually allow them to exist in this space properly and navigate this space with peace to the best of their ability. It will not be perfection. Life is not meant to be perfect, but you have to do it with purpose. You have to know that whatever your passion is, it should not drain you. It should elevate you. You should move forward and progress. And if it's holding you back or holding you down, you need to let it go. And that's something y'all don't understand how to do. If it's seasonal, and if you go to seminary school and you're learning and you plan to enter ministry and it doesn't work out for you in the 5 years, then that's fine. Move on to something else. You can't train for something you say you were called to do. It's something that's in you. Leadership ain't something you learn, it's something you're born with. It's a skill that you just innately have, and you operate in it in a great, clean, pure way. And if you're corrupt, that happens too. But guess what? People hopefully have discernment to remove themselves, but they don't. And that's how people are able to be abused and mistreated and manipulated and controlled and lied to and put into cultish environments. So, no, I'm not going to war for you and with you. I don't want to do war. I want to live in peace. Don't give me a call to action to war for you. I want peace, and you should too. So, if ministry and if pastoring doesn't give you peace, fall back. Go do something that does. That's my advice to you. Don't give people a call to war. I have put my weapons down as it relates to the church. I'm not fighting for salvation anymore. I am living in my wholeness. I am living in my healing. I am operating in well-being. My mind, my body, my spirit, my soul, whole. And I shall not give you a piece of it and disturb my peace. No, sir. That's a burden that nobody should have to bear for a calling that you say you answered. If you have enjoyed this video, go ahead, like it, and subscribe to the channel. We would love to add you to our 2 cents crew. Until next time, take care, be safe, and we will see you in the comment section. Bye.